Our planet's neighbourhood holds the key to many unanswered questions. Mars, the red planet next door to us, remains an object of fascination for scientists, from the discovery of potential traces of liquid water to the possible existence of alien microbes on the planet's surface. Mars holds significant intrigue for us human beings. And now, recent discoveries have opened a bigger window into the world of the red planet. Our next report telling you more.
The red planet Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun. It is named after the Roman god of war. Mars is a cold desert world within our solar system. The planet is the second closest to Earth after Venus, and it is usually easy to observe in the night sky. Space missions have shown us that Mars once had liquid water on the surface and could have been hospitable to life as we know it. But that was a possibility at least 2 to 3 billion years ago. The planet with 2 moons is also the most explored celestial body. We have sent more spacecraft to Mars than any other world beyond Earth. At the moment, there are 11 missions operating on or around the planet. But now scientists have made an interesting discovery. New details have emerged about how fast the planet rotates and how much it wobbles. Studies have revealed an unexpected acceleration in Mars' rotation. This is presenting a complex situation for researchers trying to find out the underlying cause behind it. NASA's InSight lander spent a 4-year tenure on the Martian surface before its power reserves depleted in December 2022. This analytical approach unveiled a startling revelation that Mars' rotation is undergoing an acceleration of approximately 4 milliarcseconds, which is just a fraction of a millisecond every Martian year. But Mars doesn't have a large moon and it isn't geologically active, so why is it speeding up? One strong possibility is that the interior of Mars is sloshing around. The findings also suggest that the core of Mars doesn't have a uniform density, but rather layers of varying density. While the reason for the hastening in Mars's spin isn't very clear, it could have to do with the ice accumulating on the polar caps. The findings are also helping scientists understand Mars's interior structure and atmosphere, which is essential to understanding how the planet formed and even evolved. The red planet continues to intrigue scientists, and this revelation is just the beginning. The InSight data will be mined for a long time, and we are probably going to get to learn a lot of new things about our neighbor in the coming years, as NASA plans to send humans to Mars. But we now know that when humans settle on Mars, they will have to adjust their clocks from time to time, just as we do on Earth. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
We just witnessed the hottest July on record. Extreme weather conditions gripped multiple parts of the world. We've been telling you about this. The level of Antarctic sea ice, in fact, is at a record low. And the news I have for you now is not going to make things any better. The hole in the ozone layer has already started to form this year, and it's ahead of schedule this time. Let's just first understand what the ozone hole is. It's an annual thinning of the stratosphere's ozone layer. It occurs over Antarctica. Usually the ozone hole begins to form well at the end of September, and it peaks in October and closes in November or December. But guess what? We are barely 10 days into August and the hole has already started forming. You may already know how important the ozone layer is. It absorbs the harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. But excessive release of ozone depleting chemicals can lead to holes in this very layer. You see, the Earth's atmosphere is continuously stirred by winds, and as a result, ozone depleting gases get mixed throughout the atmosphere. It does not matter where they are actually emitted. Due to specific meteorological conditions, the effect is more prominent over Antarctica. The ozone layer thins and a hole is formed every year. Back in the 1990s, the ozone hole was a pressing global crisis issue, but over time it has been quote-unquote healing. Since the 1989 Montreal Protocol, 99% of the ozone-depleting chemicals like chlorofluorocarbons have been eliminated. Ozone levels over the Antarctic are expected to, in fact, bounce back to the 1980 levels by the year 2066. But this year's early occurrence of the hole has sent alarm bells ringing, and it's only going to increase rapidly in the coming days, by the way. And scientists fear it's going to be one of the largest observed ozone holes for this time of the year. The most rapid growth of the ozone hole occurred in the year 2000, and this year's development is comparable to that. The question is, why is this happening? Is it because of climate change? Has there been an increase in the release of chlorofluorocarbons, or is there some other reason? Well, scientists are blaming this on the eruption of Hunga Tonga volcano. The volcano injected an unprecedented amount of water vapor into the stratosphere. It's about 3 times more than usual. And more water vapor leads to the formation of ice clouds in the stratosphere. These ice particles collect ozone-destroying molecules and ultimately accelerate the formation of the ozone hole. What is the impact going to be is the next question. As I told you, the ozone hole would allow sun's UV radiation to reach our planet. As more UV radiation reaches Antarctica, the ocean would heat up even more and more ice would end up melting. And like I said, Antarctic sea ice has hit record lows over the last 2 years. So a bigger ozone hole is not what we need right now at all. It's going to make matters worse. And it's not just the ozone hole. The eruption of the Hunga Tonga volcano is also going to have impact on the environment. This includes higher than usual surface temperatures over large parts of the world. And they are going to continue until the end of this decade. The only consolation, yes, there is one, the effect is not going to stick around for centuries like climate change. And our next story is from Niger. It's been over 2 weeks since the country witnessed a coup, and there seems to be no solution in sight. All international requests to the Niger junta have fallen flat, and the hopes for dialogue are only fading. And to make matters worse, the drums of war are only growing louder. 4 days back, the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, threatened to use military force and reverse the coup in Niger. He faced backlash over this. Nigeria's parliament, in fact, opposed it. And 4 days on, his assertion is finding takers. Have a look at this headline. This Thursday, the Economic Community of West African States, a regional bloc also known as ECOWAS, is meeting. And this meeting will be held in Nigeria's capital. The agenda essentially will be to discuss ways to deal with the coup in Niger. Now remember, ECOWAS leaders had earlier given Niger's military junta an ultimatum to cede power within 7 days or face a military intervention. The deadline came and went, the junta remains firm, and now the ECOWAS is meeting once again. Will it finally go ahead with the military intervention is the big question. And if not, what else can it really do? And to understand that, we have to first understand the body itself, its functioning. What exactly is ECOWAS? It is a regional group established in the year 1975 through the Lagos Treaty. The aim was to promote economic integration among its members. How many members does the body have? There are a total of 15. Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Ivory Coast, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Senegal, and Togo. Now, ever since its inception, the ECOWAS has also served as a peacekeeping force in the region, by the way, with member states occasionally sending joint military forces in order to intervene in the bloc's member countries during times of unrest or political instability. let's take you back to the year 1990. It deployed forces in Liberia during the deadly civil war, and then in 1997, it intervened in Sierra Leone. When a democratically elected government was overthrown, and in 2017, it intervened in the Gambia after its longtime president, Yahya Jammeh, refused to step down after losing elections. But in recent years, this has not happened. Some of the biggest countries in the bloc have witnessed coups, like Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso. And instead of intervening militarily, the bloc suspended the 3 member states and refused to recognize their new governments. The question is, will it do the same in Niger? Well, so far, the group has hinted at a military intervention, and even if it goes ahead with that plan, it still faces many challenges. For instance, on Monday, Mali and Burkina Faso, both neighbors of Niger, run by military juntas, said that they were sending a delegation of officials to the country to show support. And that's not all. They even said that they would consider any attack on Niger as an attack on them as well. The other option before ECOWAS is imposing economic sanctions. But the group may hesitate in doing this because all these countries are also dealing with low economic growth prospects at the moment. Imposing sanctions would only make them suffer more and make the life of the common man even tougher. In fact, on Thursday, when the ECOWAS assembles in Abuja, all these measures will be on the table. So will be the risks of taking each of them, and any decision they will take will be crucial, to say the least, not just for Niger, but for the entire West African region. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.